All right, folks. So thanks again for joining us on the call today. Today we're going to be talking about all of the resources and tools available to you, the organizers of the Brigade Network. My name is Brielle Plump, and I am the Communities Coordinator here for Code for America, and I'm based in San Francisco. I'll go ahead and ask everyone else who's on camera just to share who they are since we've got you visible. And we can start with Andrew.
Hi, everybody. Andrew Hyder. I was a fellow a few years ago, and I work at Code for America as the developer advocate.
Thanks, Andrew.
Hey, everybody. My name is Preston. I have been at Code for America for just over a year. Last year, I worked supporting the brigades all across the country as a brigade program coordinator, but now I am a civic engagement program coordinator, helping some cities that we work in go deep on civic engagement between government and the people.
Brett, do you want to go ahead and share a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'll go interrupt the awkward pause. Brett Lore-Castillo. I'm with Open Data STL in St. Louis. I'm the, we call it government co-captain of our brigade. I actually work for St. Louis County Emergency Management as well. And we have another co-captain, Eleanor Tutt, who works for nonprofit Rise STL. Also good also one of the GIS resources if you need that type of help in Code for America.
Ooh, thank you. You never have too much of that.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm with Code for San Jose, a little fledgling chapter. It just started this year. I'm on their policy team, and yeah, member. Yay.
Thanks for joining, Emily. All right, Bert.
Hi, Bert Lum, here in Hawaii, Code for Hawaii. Been involved with Code for America since 2012 when Honolulu was a Code for America city. Been involved with the city and county of Honolulu and the state of Hawaii, and I've been watching the administration changes through both city and county as well as state of Hawaii, and all the challenges that come along with administration changes. So we're still holding the flame burning here for open data and civic engagement, but it's kind of a managed process with making sure that we get the right stakeholders and we got the right community members getting involved. I invited one of our local open data advocates. His name is Ryan Kano, and he's also on the line here, who has been spending the last 3 years in New York and recently came back to Hawaii and wants to get involved. So I thought I'd get him into this hangout and kind of see what else is going on across the country.
Awesome. Thanks, Bert. Thanks, Ryan, for joining us today. And John, you want to share where you're calling from today?
Absolutely. So I'm John Chapin with Code for Nashville, and over here we've got several members of the leadership team. I'm going to toss it off to Rebecca.
Hi, I'm a new co-captain. Mainly do mainly a webmaster, do things on the website and help where I can.
All right, and back here to Janelle and to Joanne.
Hi.
Hey guys.
My name is Janelle Cochran. I'm Code for Nashville delivery lead.
Hi, Brielle.
Hi.
I'm Joanne, and I'm basically see myself as the liaison with the Metro Data people.
Awesome.
So that's
Thanks,
Code
John.
for Nashville.
Love it. Thanks all for joining us on the call, and for those of you that are joining us via voice only, we really appreciate your time. We are going to be recording today's call. We've already started recording, so you can share what's about to come with all of your team members when the time is right. But let's go ahead and get started. We've got a packed agenda today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and if Andrew, you want to give me a holler when we're live with that, that would be great. Or Preston, either one of you?
Yeah. Just hit present and you are good.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
So this is our Brigade Captains Orientation, Brigade Captains 101, the where and how of everything that you need to know to keep your brigade running strong. We're going to be talking about a lot of items today. We're going to start by doing an overview of some of the most essential toolkit items that brigade organizers over the years have asked for and helped us create. And we're going to sort of share some of the top winners and most frequently used documents. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of the financial resources available to you as brigade organizers and leaders, just to make sure you know how to access funding, and after you spend money, you know how to get reimbursed. We're going to talk about ways that we can connect with each other. As brigade organizers, one of your biggest assets and resources is one another. We want to make sure that you know all of the various channels available for you to communicate and collaborate. Then we're going to start talking about some of the channels that we can use to stay up to date. So if you've got new projects or you've got new ideas about leadership roles in your team, where you can share some of that information to just share your success stories and also gather ideas and ask questions. Then Andrew's going to dive into some of the hot off the press items that we just launched today on our website. So super excited for you guys to see some of the new cool resources that he's created. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what we're doing here in San Francisco to support you and sort of open up the door for questions and answers and opportunities for you to share what you'd like to see in the future. All right, so with that, I'll keep it pushing. And I want to start off by saying that I can't believe it's April because we have already done so much in the past 4 months. You know, here at Code for America, we are constantly iterating on our own model and thinking about new ways that we can really, really help government be more efficient and access more people through their services. And, you know, just at the end of 2014, we launched a whole new set of digital principles, and we kicked off with 3 really awesome focus areas: health, economic development, and social justice. And we just threw all that out at the Brigade Network and said, how can you organize around this? And y'all really, really picked up the ball and really, really impressed us with how you were able to rally behind these new changes within the network. So thank you. We're off to a great running start. Go A's. But more to the point, we have 31 signed memorandums of understanding from Brigade organizers just like you, and we have 20 more on the way. So the network hasn't necessarily gotten any bigger, but it's going a lot deeper, and that's really what these MOUs reflect. It reflects your commitment to setting up strategic plans or aligned with these new principles and focus areas, and really putting your stamp on it and saying, this is what our brigade really wants to accomplish, and we're excited to do it in 2015. The strategic plans that came through have been incredibly impressive and show really a breadth of talent and skills and ideas within the network. Some of the main themes of what we saw in the strategic plan are really about membership growth, being more inclusive in your communities, partnering more strategically with other nonprofits in your space. Universities were a huge theme in strategic plans this year. And then, of course, working with your local government. And a lot of brigades are still working on opening up the data itself. So while we did hear a lot about projects that people want to work on, we also heard from a lot of people that the data still isn't available to really move on any of these projects. And that's still something that we really, really need to push for collectively. And then, of course, we had one of our biggest days of collective action, or Code Across, this past February. Compared to last year, we grew by 10%, and we're certainly expecting that National Day on June 6th be even bigger. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're really excited to see what else we can do with the remainder of the year. But since so much of the year so far has been focused on planning and adapting to the new sort of Code for America principles, we thought that this call could be a great time for us to reset and think about some of the resources that are really fundamental to the work that we do, which is why we invited you on the call today to talk about some of those just organizer 101 tips and tools. So with that, I'm going to ping over into my the toolkit on the actual website, talk a little bit about the 4 Ps, and introduce some new features that are coming. So pardon me as I kind of fumble through here. Okay, so hopefully what you see now is the National Day of Civic Hacking, June 6th reminder at the top of the toolkit page, and then 3 columns that we've created to sort of help. Do you see it? Okay, great. We have 3 columns here that sort of break down the toolkits and into categories and sections that we're hoping will help you identify what you need more easily. I will say that we recognize this toolkit could use a little bit of work. Andrew just created a great template for us to use to start converting some of the docs in the toolkit into web pages, so you can access them a little more easily and they're just a little more polished. But I wanted to bring your attention to a few pieces while it's still in its alpha form. So one would be the roles within the brigade. As brigade organizers on this call, you've clearly already got some folks on your team that are really helping you push and organize. But know that you can always return to this doc and think about other roles within your brigade that you might want to see. You know, a lot of brigades are organizing civic user testing groups and deciding that they need someone in the brigade to really be the leader in user engagement and user testing. That's a new brigade leadership role that we've really seen emerge. So just remember that you can always add to your core team. We also have a few guidelines that we've added to our resource page here. One is around branding, and another is around how you can communicate about your brigade. So please play around with these, and if you're ever going into a meeting where people aren't as familiar with what you do as a brigade, we invite you to bring these resources with you so you can sort of share more easily what it is that the network does without having to reinvent the wheel and create a whole new doc yourself. We thought we'd provide some stuff for you. Another thing I wanted to highlight was the partnership section. The first item here is our sort of hit list of 10 ways you can collaborate more with your local government. This was formerly, I think, our municipal partner handbook. The name changed a bunch of times, but ultimately it's meant as a resource not only for you, but also for government partners, our potential government partners who are wondering how they can plug into the network. So feel free to point them to this page if they're wondering how they can get more involved with the brigade, or if they have folks and contacts in other cities that are wondering how they may get involved with their local chapter. Also, the Build Community Partnerships template here talks about how you can build a partnership with Girl Develop It, which is an educational organization that teaches women how to code. But we are inviting folks to use this template to use this resource as a template and adapt it to any other partner that you might have in your city that is doing something similar. That's maybe teaching young kids how to code. Or are working with senior citizens to help them become more technically savvy. However it works for you, please know that all of these resources here are meant to be hacked upon, and they really all should be seen sort of as a template. So as you're thinking about who your community partner could be in the future, please visit this resource and just replace Girl Develop It with the partner that you're thinking about. Participation section down here could be definitely more fleshed out because we've got a lot more ways for you to participate. And so we'll be building out this section, but I did want to call out the Brigade Forum, which is what I linked to in the chat. That is our new house for all things discussion related, including talks just like this and hangouts just like this. So please poke around there. And if you have questions that are broad topics that brigades like to discuss, please open up an issue and start a dialogue there. People have really rallied behind Slack, and we'd love to see some continuous discussion on forum as well. The Civic Issue Finder is a great tool for folks with developer skills who are looking to hack on projects. So if you haven't yet spent time in the Civic Issue Finder, please do. It's well worth it. Okay, team, is there anything else here other than some of the financial stuff that we want to call out as new? I see Andrew doing a scan.
So the projects section here in the middle, it's a brand new little section we just added, but we're slowly adding more and more resources there to help you when you're working on different type of projects. So we've got like the project ideas repo there has a ton of different discussions about different project ideas, and some of them have come from there and even become like real projects, and they're really good. And also the last one in there, projects for new brigade members. It's a Google Doc with like 10 good projects for people who are brand new to your brigade. It's mostly like research and some of that, but there's a couple coding ones as well. So please just check it out. It should help when you have brand new people coming back.
Awesome.
And just published a few minutes ago is the training that we did with Open Oakland on recruiting for diverse leadership. We got the video and we wrote some concise notes down. You can see that down under people, and it's really useful. And they also shared some of the materials that they use to organize their drive for a more diverse and representative leadership team, which I think is really useful because we tend to see that brigades that have a more diverse representative leadership wind up having a more diverse and representative participation in general in the brigade hack nights.
Awesome. Thanks, Preston. Yeah, that just went live today. So hopefully every time you return to this site, you'll see something brand new. And please feel free to share this with your brigade members. This isn't just a brigade organizer tool. This is a brigade anywhere, anytime, anybody tool. So share this resource with folks, bookmark the link as one of your favorites, and know that we're always looking for recommendations of things we can add to it. So now I mentioned that we were going to talk a little bit about some money stuff. So as official brigade members, which I think most folks on this call fall into, you sent us a strategic plan and you included a budget tracking sheet. If you didn't, then you'll definitely want to create that soon. I know that everyone here created some type of budget specifically, but the tracking spreadsheet is something that I think we actually launched maybe in February, so it might have missed some of you. Please use this spreadsheet, copy it, and use it to track all of the financials of your brigade. And please share it with Michael Santis, who I'll get to in just a minute, but he is our main accountant for brigades. But really, this is meant to be a tool for you to not only track money that you're sending out, but set expectations for money that you'll need in the future. We are using the budgets within your strategic plan to verify any expense reports that come in for you. So we really want to make sure that you are feeling supported and tracking all of that money so that we don't go outside of the budget that you submitted. If for some reason you do, we can definitely talk about ways that we can get you other resources. But know that we really are needing to stick within that budget because as the network grows, sometimes the purse doesn't grow at the same rate, but we're working on it. Which brings me to the local fundraising guide. A lot of brigades are thinking of new ways that they can bring money in locally. This guide here will be modified quite a bit in the next month. We're going to just sort of reformat some of the language so it's a little more clear, but everything in it is up to date, and there's some great recommendations for how you can go out and see who in the community is willing to donate money to your cause. The way that people would actually do that is highlighted in the fundraising guide, but just for our purposes today, I'll note it. There is a donation page on the Code for America site, and at the bottom of the page in the form, there's a section that says, where would I like my money to go? Or how did I hear about Code for America? If you know people that are going to that site and want to give money to your brigade specifically, instruct them to note that in that comment section. And we read that anytime money comes through the door, and we will set that money aside specifically for your brigade. So maybe your grandma wants to donate $50 to your brigade. That's awesome. Direct her to that page, make sure she fills in the comment section, and we'll make sure that money goes directly to your work. Okay, so that's donations. If you have a big event coming up that you weren't able to budget for, or maybe you aren't an official brigade, you're a network member, and you aren't yet receiving regular resources from us, you can fill out the support request form. Everything highlighted. Fill out this support request form. Let us know what's coming up for you that you'd like some additional support with, and we'll be happy to take a look and figure out if we can sponsor a little more funding towards that event or project. And then lastly, no matter how you're getting the money, whether it's through donation from your budget or through the reimbursement form or the request form, you will use the support reimbursement process. I think a lot of you are already familiar with this process. It has a lot to do with Expensify, which is an amazing system that allows us to track expenses that come from brigades. If you haven't yet received an Expensify account, please let me know and I'll set you up. And then from there on out, anytime you're looking to reimburse, again, whether it's from donations, from something in your budget, or from a grant that you requested, you'll be working with Michael Santis. This is Michael. Michael's awesome. He used to be full-time staff here at CFA, and then he moved to Florida for other opportunities, but he stuck on with us and volunteered to help us with all of the expenses related to Brigade. So just know that he is super awesome. He's located in Florida, and he's the guy that you're emailing when you're asking for money. So just wanted to introduce you guys to him in case you didn't already know him. All right, I know I'm flying right now, but it's all with the purpose of having time at the end for question and answer. So bear with me, guys. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about staying connected and getting connected. So we talked a little bit about Slack. I think a lot of people have found Slack to be pretty useful. And we're really excited that it's a great way for us to communicate throughout the day and answer quick questions and share ideas and post articles. So please keep that up. Other ways for you to connect that may be a little less obvious are through your website and your Meetup account, which we point to all the time when folks ask us, hey, Bree, what's happening in Nashville with John and his team? I don't always know off the top of my head what's going on, and I invite them to visit your website or your Meetup page. So keep those up to date. List the projects you're working on. Share who your core team is. Make sure that your code of conduct is visible so people know that you have a safe space. And just really do what you can to keep that updated. Likewise, the big, beautiful map on the Code for America Brigade site, which Andrew's going to talk about later, is sourced by the CFA Brigade information spreadsheet, which you or your delivery lead should have access to. If you, for some reason, change the URL to your website or something, change the location of your hack night, we want to make sure that's reflected in the spreadsheet so that populates on the map. So if you don't have access to this spreadsheet and you're like, what is she talking about? Please send us a quick email after the call and we'll make sure that you know how to access that so that anytime someone goes onto the map and is looking for that Nashville hack night, all of the information there is up to date. Okay, Google Forum is the Brigade at Code for America alias that a lot of folks use to start email conversations. We've gotten some feedback from folks that isn't always the easiest way to keep track of a dialogue or a specific topic. So if it works for you, keep using it. If not, that's sort of what inspired us to create the forum. So again, the forum is where we're housing this particular conversation and have a bunch of other announcements and issues. Please use that. Run wild with it. Anytime you've got a question or a topic, we'd love to see it posted on the forum if Slack or Google Form aren't working for you. And there may be some duplicate conversations, and as those arise, we'll figure out ways to bridge the two. Civic Tech Issue Finder is another way to stay connected. I think a lot of folks are starting to tag their Code for America GitHub repos to the Civic Tech Issue Finder. If you haven't yet gotten in that practice, please do. That's another place we point to when people ask, what kind of projects are folks working on? We'll go sometimes directly to the Civic Tech Issue Finder and see what we can show them. Showing is often a lot easier than telling, so we rely on the Civic Tech Issue Finder to connect with you that way. And then we also have a survey, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But first, this is how we stay connected. There's also a lot of discussion around how we can stay up to date with what you're doing. Sometimes there's weeks or months at a time before we hear what's happening with your brigade. So the channels that we can use to stay up to date with what you're doing are, drumroll please, the same places. So again, we are using all of these channels to keep informed about what you're up to. And we really rely on you to keep that information up to date so we can share your successes and keep folks coming to your hack night. So now for this survey I mentioned, this is another hot off the press item. I'm going to go ahead and pop into it real quick. This is the Code for America Brigade survey, Brigade Wins. It's basically a survey that we're inviting you to fill out anytime something is new within your brigade. So if you click on start, you'll see we've got a whole pick list here of, potentially new things that are happening. Maybe you launched a new app, maybe you fundraised some money, maybe it's something that we don't have a category for. Please select that. Tell us a little more about it. Tell us what impact you think it's going to have in your city. And then as you scroll down, you'll see there's more ways for you to share what you're looking for, how we can help you, and if there's anything else we should know about this project. And it's just one more way for us to stay up to date so that at the end of the year, when we're all looking back at 2015 and figuring out, did we accomplish what we set out to? We can look at that and know, yes, we did, because it's up to date. All right, so now for more hot off the press, I'm going to kick it over to Andrew.
Hi, Brielle. Hey, thank you very much for running through all of that content. There was a ton of new and useful tools on the toolkit. Let me share mine real quick.
Yeah, should I stop sharing screens?
Can you see mine?
Preston, what can you see?
Can you see mine?
I see hot off the press.
Okay.
All right,
That's still me.
All right.
Oh, you're good.
All right, everybody. Cool. I got just a few quick things to share with you guys. Just a bunch of the technical infrastructure that we keep working on to help support the brigades, and I wanted to share some of it with you. So the big thing was just today, I finally pushed up the new Code for America Brigade website. Here it is, codeforamerica.org/brigade. You can go and see it. It's very pretty. So the main point of this site is to all of the traffic that we get through it. I'm just trying to get them to your brigade as quickly as possible so that they can sign up and like find out what you guys are working on. So main piece right here, finding your local brigade. And for me in San Francisco, it brings me right to Code for San Francisco. It's going to bring people to the closest brigade to them. You can also find it through the map there. But one thing I really like about this site is each brigade now basically gets a very descriptive homepage describing all of the stuff they're up to right out of the box. So this all works off the CF API. So you can see I have the 3 most recently updated projects, so people can quickly find out what Code for San Francisco is working on. We've got the next 2 meetup events that are happening and the latest blog posts as well. But also with no other work on your part, we've got all the open GitHub issues on all of the projects that Code for San Francisco is working on. So anybody can come in and help make the CSV data available for this elections project. So we're just trying to promote all the ways that you guys are working and get people to come in and sign up as quickly as possible. On this site, one of the big things is those brigade pages. So you all have like a nice, fully fleshed out page that you can link people to. But also, it's got the new sign up form. Down here, this is our universal sign up form for like everything. But it works in a way that it's now possible for everyone who has ever signed up for your brigade on our website. Before, we haven't really been like able to get you guys that list, and we finally are like trying out a new way to do it. This thing is called the People Database, and what we've got is there we go, a list of all the people who have signed up on our website for your brigade. So if I go to Code for San Francisco, you'll be able to see that like over the last little bit, 315 people have signed up. And it'd be really useful for you guys to have that list as well, because you probably have your own list somewhere else. But these are all the people that have shown interest for your site and through ours. So this is definitely an MVP. We're just trying it out. I want to start testing it with you guys. you as captains should have access to this site. So if you go to the link, people.codeforamerica.org/brigade, you can hopefully, like I said, we're just trying this out. You can hopefully sign in using a persona and get that list of people. There's going to be a ton more improvements going on to it. We're trying to keep it as secure as possible. But I just wanted to share that out with you guys right away, as I finally got it to the point where you can get that list.
Hey, Andrew, I'm getting an internal server error.
Oh, are you on the, like I said, it's brand new. We're just trying it out. HTTPS?
Yeah, looking at it again, I don't think I did a typo, but.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let me work on it right after. Yeah. Let me get at you.
Yeah, I'm getting a 500 here too as well.
All right, live demos. They always work so well.
All right, we'll get there, people, but it's coming. It's coming. Andrew's being modest right now. This literally launched today, so a few kinks are expected.
Yeah. So the point of it is just trying to get you that list of people. So like no matter what happens, we can like get it to you guys in any way that you want. And it's probably a thing that you want just once. But yeah, so that's the thing that we're working on. Some other updates. The CF API has got a bunch of updates recently. We've been working to improve it. Again, the CF API is this thing that describes all of the activity on the civic technology movement. We've got all the brigades, all the Code for All groups, all the fellowship projects, everything. We've got the groups, we've got their events, their stories, and their projects. We finally just added a search to the project. So here's an example. Right here. So I typed in health, and I'm able to find all of the projects that have something to do with health. They may have health in the title, in the description. They may have health in the tags or their status, their focus, something like that. So we're trying to build more and more tools to make it easily accessible for you guys to like find other projects that are relevant for the groups that you're working with.
So cool.
Couple more updates. We added to the CF API 4 projects. We've added status and tags. These are really heavily requested fields. They are status meaning like, is it launched or is it in beta, alpha, is it in production? Tags like, is it for bicycles or health or economic development, or is it an iOS app? Something like that. So just sort of unformed data. The way that you can get those into your projects, is through the civic.json file. We took this idea from Beta NYC and OpenGov Hack Night, and basically, where is it? There we go. So it's a small file that you can add into any project that you want to, just a small JSON, and you can tell us what the status is and what the tags are. Again, this is brand new. We're working on it. We're trying to make it as easy as possible, but we really want to be able to add this like really valuable data to all the projects so people can search across it really easily. All right, a few more updates. We've gotten a bunch of new donations for the Brigade programs. Big, huge one that a lot of people are taking advantage of is Google Apps and Office 365. So if you want really nice emails for your brigade, like captain@codeforsanfrancisco.org, and access it through either through Gmail or through Office 365. Both Microsoft and Google have donated those to the Brigade program. Also, AWS. We basically have free AWS for all the brigades. There's a little bit of limits on it as we try and keep it somewhat good, but we've had that limit upped. We can now add a bunch more brigades to our account. So if you need some free compute, some databases, all the services that AWS offers, just let me know and we will get you free AWS. Again, there's a ton more of these donated services on the tools page. The last one I wanted to mention was usertesting.com. This is a great tool that's just been donated to us where you very, very quickly can have a bunch of people from around the world on video on their own computers try out your apps and services and answer a few set of questions about them. It's really well done, really useful. We got a ton of credits. So I think it'd be very useful for civic tech projects to get a little bit better tested. All right. Any big questions about those that I need to answer before we move on? We good?
I have a question. Right. This is Ryan from Hawaii.
Hi.
So when you mentioned like we can get free AWS, is that if we set up like let's say a website to codeforhawaii.org, can we use those resources for that?
That's a perfect way to do it. There's a couple free ways to go about it, but if you want to use AWS, the way it works is you just send me the email that you use to create your account. I recommend a generic one for like tech@codeforhawaii.org and something that you could share with the rest of your group, and then I'll just take over the bills for it. It's
cool.
easy as
That's
that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just send me an email, and we'll get you set up. All right. Let's see, another section. We got a couple of requests just to see what we're working on, like the communities team here at Code for America. We've actually been trying to, as an organization, just use like standard practices a bunch more. So the communities team is all starting to use GitHub issues to track all of our to-dos. And the view that we're using to see it is a waffle. It turns your GitHub issues into
right now, Andrew. Can you go to that slide?
Oh, you can't see it?
Sure. No, we're looking at a few slides ahead of that.
Oh, sorry, I'm sharing mine. I'm sharing mine.
Oh. There we go.
Now we're good.
So waffle, yeah. So anyways, it's just like the whole communities team's to-do list. You can go see what's going on, and you can comment on some of the infrastructure that we're helping to build for you guys to try and make it a little bit easier for your groups to operate. And also, we just recommend it as a tool for your own group, for your volunteers, maybe per project or as the brigade as a whole. So it's just a nice view on top of GitHub issues. We recommend it. Seal of approval. All right, Preston, it's all you.
Cool. Sorry for the advancing too fast on that. I didn't realize that my screen share would override everybody else's screen share. Are you all able to see the slide that says our goals right now?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to close this down on this portion before the Q&A and just share, brigades, the brigade program in general, we've got some deeper societal goals that we're trying to achieve through setting up opportunities for people to work with their tech skills and their organizing skills along with their local governments to make their cities better places to live in. We want to leave some lasting impacts that builds the civic fabric of places that we work in. So anyone who's been around the Code for America world for a little while knows a lot of this, but I want to go over it real quick again. So inclusion and diversity, it's critical for us, especially as people who work with technology, which a lot of data is showing is a very polarizing force and is excluding a lot of marginalized folks. We have to make sure that the way that we work, everything from hack nights all the way to our summit and in between, is prioritizing the input and the access and adoption of people who are traditionally marginalized by technology. So we're working on a lot of ways to help people measure and understand how to improve on that. That's why we released this toolkit when we interviewed Open Oakland on how they managed to significantly move the needle on more broadly representing all the communities that are present in Oakland. That's why, if you're a captain, you may have remembered that you got a survey a little while back that asked about, the demographic information of your leadership, which we're using to understand the picture of what the brigades look like across the board. So by knowing what those baselines are, we can then try and reach a better representation of the places that we work in. We're also trying to deepen impact. Brielle already mentioned the partnership that we've kicked off with Girl Develop It, which started in Philadelphia and is now moving to some other locations. We believe that brigades working locally with other longstanding community organizations, especially those that are not strictly technology-based organizations, is a way to sort of find new opportunities for the civic space and to connect the work that we're doing to other longstanding work that community members have been doing in our cities for a long time. Storytelling. Some people do a great job of regularly reporting out what they do at Hack Nights, reporting out about events. Storytelling is the way that you will literally move the narrative forward in your city. So we've got we've already got some toolkit items up to support how to share how to do better storytelling, but we really hope that people are finding ways to tell the story of how here's how we're coming together, here's how we're spending our time and using our skills to make our city a better place to live in. And we will highlight those things both in the newsletter and also when appropriate at the Code for America Summit. And then also technical infrastructure. Andrew shared with you some new, a whole lot of new developments that we've made recently on the website and with the API, and also with new donations that we've gotten. These are designed to make it easier for brigades to work on things without having to worry about, reinventing the wheel or having to go pay a lot of money to access necessary infrastructure. So if you have any questions about how to use that stuff, or if you have any ideas or connections to what you would like to use, do share that with us on Slack in the Brigade channel, or email any one of us. So I mentioned earlier that I'm currently working as a Civic Engagement Program Coordinator, and so I want to share with you briefly about something that we're working on that's very soon to debut, called Civic Engagement Standard at Code for America. We, along with the Director of Community Organizing, Catherine Bracey, who is our boss, and who many of you, I believe, have seen probably speak either in person or through YouTube. We have worked out a sort of process and theory of change for how governments can level up some of their capabilities in order to reliably turn citizens from passive recipients of government services to active participants in building their government. So again, this standard is going to be published within the next week or two, and I look forward to sharing it out at that time. But I can share with you now that the Civic Engagement Standard, is basically the idea that all governments need to kind of fully realize 5 clear competencies with how they work with their constituents in order to be truly, meaningfully, civically engaging with their citizens. And those 5 competencies are reach. Are we reaching the right people? Information. Is the information that we have relevant, spoken in an authentic voice, and do people have a relationship with that information? Spaces and channels. Are we meeting people where they are? Are we meeting people in many different ways, and in ways where we can be authentically present and invited in instead of kind of coming in as outside actors? Are we providing people with productive actions to take on an issue so they can actually be a part of advancing a solution for the public realm with government? And honestly, being a brigade member and committing on GitHub issues and speaking at Hack Nights and doing user surveys and all of this is a very clear example of productive actions. And of course, you being on this call shows that you've taken a great amount of responsibility for productive actions. So give yourself a round of applause. And also, feedback loops are the systems that we're designing and the issues that we're working on, designed to allow people to understand, I made an input, I can see that my input was taken and utilized in some way, and I'm being re-invited to continue to contribute in some way so that I know that I'm iterating forward on this issue with the government. So those are kind of the basic questions that we would encourage you to ask yourself now. And very soon, when we publish the Civic Engagement Standard, there will be a lot of questions and examples that are really useful for you to check out for all of your projects and see, are we really bringing people together to be active participants with our local government through the brigade? And as we go forward, too, we're going to build out a lot of tools and a lot of case studies to support each of those 5 competencies. So a lot more reading and learning material. Speaking of more, I'll finish this part, I guess. So National Day of Civic Hacking, which many of you may have participated in before, is going to be on June 6th this year. Hopefully you've already signed up. Code for America traditionally has been a co-partner in leading this along with Second Muse, but this year we are the flagship implementer of National Day of Civic Hacking. So expect a lot of communication from us, and especially from Hannah, on setting up a really successful, impactful National Day. Again, we've already mentioned some more toolkit stuff that's come up, and just within the last couple hours, Recruiting for Diverse Leadership already got published. But also, there's an online programming calendar that we're working on, and we're looking to open up the makers market that we use here at Code for America for making things like presentations and making other tools that has everything from like images to snippets of code to basic language for a lot of stuff. We're also going to try hosting some brown bag lunches with leaders in various fields, and also with ourselves, I suppose, to ask questions, and we can record those kind of like this. And then, of course, we're as ever, we are organizing trainings for core team members across the brigade. I'm going to let you go ahead, Brielle.
Yes, thank you so much, both of you, for contributing some of these great new features of what we have on our website, as well as other things that we're just busy doing here in San Francisco. But just know that it all really comes down to supporting and sharing what your brigade is doing, what you need, and helping you leverage partnerships locally within your city so that you can do more of the things you already do well and get all of your needs met. So that's really the aim of all of the work that we do here. So we are really, really hoping to hear from you more and more through all of the various channels so that we can continue to support those efforts. So some to-dos as we wrap up and open up for questions. Register for National Day. It's super soon. Please make that a priority. Can you keep sharing, Preston? I'm not sure what's going on with the sharing.
Sorry, there we go.
Thanks. So register for National Day. It's coming up really fast. If for some reason June 6th doesn't work for you, I know a lot of other brigades are having to host the weekend before, the weekend after. Some folks are having a one-day event. Some people are having 3 days events. Whatever you do, it's a great way for us as a network to collectively build up more momentum to keep us pushing through the year on these goals and strategic plans that we've outlined. Also, if you're a new organizer and this is your very first ever Code for America orientation, you probably don't have a track jacket and you probably really want one. So make sure that you and your captain email me with your address and the size so we can get you that track jacket so you can rep being a part of this awesome organization and stay warm as you do so. Also, let me know if you need an Expensify account. We went over a lot of great financial information earlier. We want to make sure that you get the money that is owed to you. So if you don't have an Expensify account or that reimbursement process is somehow confusing, please reach out to me. There are 2 links here, which I will add to the form because you probably can't click on them. One is a survey for today to just tell us, did this orientation meet your expectations? What questions do you have? And what resources from the call are you going to be able to take back to your team and make actionable? We want to make sure that this hour that we spent together was useful to you. So please make sure you take the survey. I believe it's already in the forum link. So yes, please share your feedback with us. We'd love to make this more and more useful for you. And then lastly, take that other survey that we went over, the What's New with Your Brigade survey, as often as you need to. There's always new stuff happening with the brigade, and we're always excited to hear about it. So you can look for the URL to that survey in every weekly captain email that goes out. We send those to all organizers in the brigade network. So hopefully we don't skip a beat there. And those are our sort of final to-dos. And I guess the last one is really to hear from you and find out what questions we can answer now in real time. I think that's the last slide. But
all right, Brielle, we got one question that has been waiting on the Google Doc.
Cool.
And it comes.
By the way.
All right, this
comes from me. Should I just talk?
Yeah. Get him, Brett.
Okay. So I had a chance to read a little bit through the local fundraising guide, and we're right in the middle of working on fundraising for National Day Civic Hacking. I think it'll be really important, at least for us, to have some guidance on how far things go versus donor and sponsor, because how much we can use logos of donors, or at what point does the amount of benefit they get turn them into a sponsor, and we have to worry about that kind of aspect.
Yeah, I invite anyone else on the call to talk a little bit about this, but I think ultimately our our reason behind advising brigades to take to engage in donor relationships rather than sponsorship relationships is to minimize the obligation that you have to deliver something to a third party that's not necessarily aligned with your goals and really the outcomes that you're pushing against. And with donations, it's basically just money that's saying, people are giving you to say, keep doing the great work. We don't care how you spend it. We just want to support you. And the more money that we can get like that, the more flexibility we have to really push the envelope on the plans and goals that we've already set in place for ourselves this year. With sponsorships, there's usually a few strings attached around logo placement at the very least. And then sometimes it gets a little more nitty gritty with specific projects or deliverables or presentations that those sponsors are looking for you. I think, for the most part, we leave it up to your discretion to figure out where to draw the line. It really comes down to, what do you want to put your name on, as well as what is the bandwidth of your brigade. I'm sure there's a lot of great sponsorship activities that people are throwing out to you that sound like they'd be great, but they maybe aren't feasible, and we don't want you to get locked into something and that you can't quite deliver on or become somehow stressful for you and your members, or again, isn't strategically aligned. So hopefully that kind of gets at the core.
Yeah, how does that end up affecting tax deductibility too?
Yeah, can I jump in here? This is Catherine. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. We strongly encourage you to take donations and not sponsorships, because sponsorships come with a legal contract. That's just too high maintenance for us to deal with executing on. You can still make a deal with whoever is sponsoring you that you're going to put your logo on, or I'm sorry, whoever is donating to you, that you will acknowledge them and put their logo on whatever, but there's no actual sponsorship. For the organization who is making the donation, that's very important, because sponsorships are not tax deductible. Donations are. And we can, as your fiscal sponsor, can process that donation with no problem. And so, we just strongly encourage that you approach it as a donation. Don't enter into a sponsorship agreement, because that just becomes a hassle for the donor and for us.
All right. Thanks,
Sounds
Catherine.
good.
Other questions? Let's see what's happening in the chat here. Looks like a lot of folks are just interested in how they can access some of the resources Andrew covered. So we'll be sure to follow up with some emails and directionals.
Yeah, for the most part, they're all about emailing me. Like, I have to tell the service that you're applying for that you are a legit brigade, and have them approve you that way. So it's kind of a lot of hand holding. I've tried to make it as easy as possible. But for the most part, it's just through emailing at me. We had a couple questions about how you can edit your brigade's information on the website through the CF API, like how it appears to the rest of the network. There's a spreadsheet that's linked through the README. It's the brigade information spreadsheet. The API reads that once an hour. The reason I made it a spreadsheet is that anyone who is in the brigade captains Google group or the delivery leads Google group automatically has access to edit that Google spreadsheet. And it's worked really well so far. So for like Anna was having trouble getting in, but she tried her codeforjc.org email, and then it works, right? So she can go and update her thing, and then within the next hour, it will show up correctly on all of the different places that the API powers.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions from folks? Sounds like people are doing okay. Well, again, thank you for coming on the call, and thank you, Andrew and Preston, for sharing all of the awesome work that you do. Like I mentioned, everything that we do really is to support this network, and you've already impressed us so much the past 4 months. We're really excited to see what comes next. National Day is just around the corner, so please let us know if you have any questions about registering for that or anything else. And thanks again for coming on the call. Please share this with the rest of your team if you think it would benefit them. Fill out the survey and let us know how we can improve upon it next time. And reach out to me if you need any support with National Day, getting your track jackets, Expensify reports. We're here to help. All right, thanks guys. Keep the conversation alive on the forum in Slack, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
I don't know if anyone can see us. We did it.